Okay, John Francis, otherwise known as Johnny Franchise, coming up for an encore performance. And with the nickname Johnny Franchise, I think you can guess what he's going to talk about here. So, John, tell us a little bit about the franchise finance world.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, franchising is a great way to grow, but not everything should be franchised, that's for sure. Franchising is generally a method of doing business. It's not always considered its own industry, but there are hotels and gas stations, restaurants, hair salons, dry cleaners, I mean, you name it. Lots of franchising out there in the world. So as a franchisor, which is the company that has the brand and the system and expands through franchisees, the strategy, I would say, the caution about franchising is it's regulated by the Federal Trade Commission. So in order to sell a franchise and become a franchise brand of any kind of business, you have to get a certain amount of paperwork done, and there's audited financial statement requirements, legal registrations with the feds, and in 14 registration states. If you want to sell a franchise in that state, Minnesota is one of them, you have to get properly registered. So that process costs money and time to become a franchise. My estimate is it's anywhere from 25 to 50,000. And so the conversation I usually have, which I had yesterday with a gal here in the room, is build more units and prove your model before you really want to franchise. You only want to franchise it when you know it's going to be franchisable and successful for a franchisee. The flip side of the franchise model is the franchise owner. So the strategy around franchising is those owners who own and operate those units, they spend their time, their money, their energy. It's their business. They're following your model and your brand and paying you a fee and a royalty and all the things that go with it. But it's a tremendous point of leverage to grow a system and a network, and particularly retail services or retail outlets. But there are commercial franchises, there are B2B franchises, there are different types and categories all over the place. But the franchisees usually finance with cash, ideally, home equity, kind of traditional things. IRA and 401k rollovers is a popular way for people to finance their deal. These are entrepreneurs who want to own their own business, but they don't want to be alone, or they don't want to start their own. They want to work through somebody else's system and brand and support and training and all the things that go with it. SBA is a big source of franchise funding. I'm sure you guys see a lot of that at Highland Bank. Franchise has a thing called the registry. If you're a franchise and you get on the registry, the SBA, it's kind of a green light. They've previewed all your documents and they know that you're legit. There are franchise groups, kind of like the other group. There are groups that focus on franchises. There are all kinds of layers and levels of franchise financing for equipment. Sometimes the fees, capital improvements, inventory. Again, it depends on the deal and the borrower, of course, the franchisee. But it's their deal. There are also, one thing to mention around franchising is for veterans. There are some very interesting initiatives around putting veterans in business as franchisees. And that's something to be considered if you're a veteran looking to invest in a franchise. So franchising is a very powerful way of growing a brand. I would say it's nothing I've seen ever anywhere else works as well when the franchisor and the franchisee and the supplier companies all do their job. Franchise systems have tremendous success and all over the world. So I love franchising, I guess that's it. And it's a great way to go, but it's not for everything. So you should really be careful and think about it. But if you want some advice, let me know. Thank you.
Great, thank you.